Hi guys, what I want to show you today is how to continuously join moss stitch granny squares. So this is a diagram of what this looks like. This is pulled from one of my patterns that's just come out, Majestic Moss Stitch Blanket, but you can use this diagram for joining any blanket continuously that's made of rectangles or squares. So you start in the upper right hand corner and then you go across like this, joining your squares. So what I'm going to show you is all the steps to get the first row joined and then the second row joined, and then every row that follows just follows the same pattern. Anyway, I've started with a single crochet in my corner. So this is just half a corner that's completed, not a full corner. Then I've gone down the side, done a normal single crochet, chain 2 single crochet corner, gone down the next side, and then I've stopped with a single crochet in the next corner. So where we are on the diagram is right here. And now we're going to go over and join the next square. So you grab your next square and then you're going to join into it. So you're going to just single crochet into any corner of your next block that you'd like to join. Now the next part is you're going to work the moss stitch all the way up this square as you're joining it to the previous square, and the join's going to happen during that chain 1. So I remove my hook, I insert it front to back through the chain 1 space of the previous square, pick up the hook, pick up the loop again, pull it through and chain 1. Then I've made that chain 1 that belongs to this square. So I'm skipping this single crochet and I'm going to single crochet in the next chain 1 space on my new square. Then I'm going to pull my loop out of my hook, insert it front to back in the previous square's chain space that would correspond with the one I will be making over here. Grab the loop, pull it through chain 1, then single crochet back in the next chain 1 space of the new square. Hook out into front to back, the chain 1 space of the previous square, pick the loop back up, chain 1, then single crochet in the next chain space in the current square. And so what you end up with is a moss stitch join, and you're going to do that all the way up the square. And I also should have mentioned something that's really helpful when you make that first chain 1 space down here, because now it's really hard to see, is that you stick a stitch marker in it, because when we come back after you've joined all the squares you want to join and you come back to complete the row, you're going to be stitching into that chain 1 space between, so it's going to be easier to locate it if you put a stitch marker in. So I'm going to go all the way back up my square and then I'll show you the join at the top. Okay, I've come all the way up my giant squares and I have just joined to my last chain 1 space on my first square. Now I'm going to single crochet into the top right corner of my new square. Then I'm going to join to the previous corner. Then I'm going to chain another, because corners are chain 2, and put a single crochet in the corner to complete it. Then I will single crochet all the way across the side and back down the other side. What you can see from where I've joined my squares is a really flat join. It looks completely the same as the rest of the moss stitch. It almost looks like you sewed your squares together. So there's no ridge on the front and there's also no ridge on the back, but the texture does look different. And I've single crocheted around all the other sides of my last block. So in our little diagram here, I added this third block and I've gone across the top and down the side, and I've gone just to my corner so I can show you how to make this join right here. So I've done my last single crochet and chain one, and now I'm ready to finish off the corner. So you're going to single crochet into the corner, then you're going to chain one, and then you're going to join for the second chain of the chain two corner will be the join into that chain one space between blocks. I like to pull that one tight, and then I'm going to chain one again and single crochet into the next corner. So what we've done is we've finished both these corners. So you can see there's a corner space here and there's a corner space here. Then we're going to single crochet all the way across and do the same thing at the next place where your blocks are joined. Okay, I've come to my next spot where I have two joined corners. So I'm going to show you again. So I'm single crocheting into the corner, chaining one, and then I'm going to join into that chain one space that you've hopefully marked with a stitch marker, otherwise it's impossible to find. I'm going to pull that one kind of tight, and then I'm going to chain one again and single crochet in the other corner, and then you can take those stitch markers out. And then you can see that I have a corner space here and I have a corner space over here, and you'll need to find those when we join the next row of squares. So if you want, you can stick a stitch marker in them. I think they're pretty easy to find, so I don't usually. Okay, so I've come to this third corner of my first square on our diagram. It will be right here, and now I'm going to join the next row of squares. Now this first square right here, this join and going across acts just like this join here. So I'm going to chain one, single crochet into the corner and go across. So I'm going to chain one, single crochet into the corner of my next square that I'm going to join on that second row. And then the process for joining across the top of this square and the bottom of this square is exactly the same as when we joined side to side. So you're going to drop your hook from the loop, insert it into the chain one space on the previous square, pick it back up, chain one, and that's what's a join in my pattern description. Then you're going to single crochet into the next chain one space on the current square, drop the hook, front to back. It's really simple. And the thing I like most about the method of dropping the loop from your hook is you're not turning your wrists and your hands or dealing with your blanket to join in a funny way to try to do it with your hook still in. So single crochet, and then if I didn't drop my hook and I was gonna single crochet into that, like I have to turn everything, and it's really awkward on the wrists and the fingers, I think. And that's why I like dropping, because then my hands are always in the same position and I just go right up, and it's really comfortable that way. And you might think that it might take longer, but once you've done it a couple of times, you'll get really quick, and then you won't even realize that you're dropping the hook and picking it back. You won't even realize that you're dropping the loop and picking it back up, because you will get extremely fast, just like you are with any normal crochet stitch that you've done for a really long time. So I'm just going to connect mine up the center, and then I will show you what it looks like when we come to a kind of join where you're joining a corner with two other squares next to it. All right, so here I am at the place where I'm going to join where there's three corners that are meeting up. So what you're going to do is you're going to single crochet into the corner of the square you're working with. Then you're going to drop the loop from your hook and you're going to join into the square adjacent. And adjacent is just a fancy word for next to. So I'm going to find the corner that I made. It's just a chain one that's next to the join of these two. Grab it back, join, then I'm going to chain one so that I have this space of my chain two corner, and then single crochet back into the corner of the square I'm working with. We didn't do anything to grab this third square over here. When we join the next square, it'll get joined, it'll be joined to all three. It'll be joined up the side of this one, then we'll join it into the corner of this square and this square. So I'm gonna go down the side of my square, I'm gonna join up my next one, and then I will skip you to that 4-corner join right here. Okay, I'm ready for my 4-corner join. Now, I'm actually only going to be joining to 2 of these 3 corners, because otherwise you get a big space for your corner as you go around here. Because all of our corners are chain 2, we want to keep that 2-stitch corner. So since I've joined this one all along the edge, I'm going to skip joining to its corner. So I have my chain 1, I go into my corner of my square I'm working on, and I single crochet 1, drop the loop from my hook. Now I'm going to skip joining to the corner of the square directly next to it, because it's joined all along the sides, so skipping this won't be a problem. I'm going to join it to the square diagonally adjacent to it. So I'm going to go into that corner, pick up the loop, and join. And then I'm going to drop the loop from my hook, and I'm going to join to the corner of the next square. Put it in, pick it up, pull it through, join. Then I'll single crochet back into my working square. Then I'll chain 1, drop my loop from my hook, and I'll start working to join the top of my current square with the bottom of the next square in the row. So what we've got here in this join of the 4 corners is it's flat, just like the rest, and it looks nice and neat. And there's no big gap anywhere. Keep going, adding all your squares, as many rows as you want. And then when you've joined up your final row, you go across the bottom, and then you finish this last side the exact same way you complete a row of joined blocks. This is continuous join as you go for moss stitch squares. I hope it was helpful, and I hope you will follow Mayhem and Majesty on social media for more amateur videos and really awesome patterns.